We're in Lakeview in Chicago.
Let me tell you a little bit about the Lakeview neighborhood so you know a little bit about it.
I got fascinated by this sign. That's what's right.
Okay, want to talk about the sign first then, or?
You tell me.
Okay, well, Lakeview neighborhood anyway started, it was next to Chicago in 1889. Before that, it was a separate township. The township hall was located on Halsted and Addison, where the police station was. And Lakeview's boundaries ran from Fullerton to approximately Montrose, from the lake to Western Avenue. It was annexed by Chicago with some other suburbs to get more population so they could have enough population for the World's Fair of 1893. And the other point was that in Lakeview, after the fire, you could build frame houses, so they started the migration to Lakeview, and a lot of the early settlers were Germans. Now, looking at the sign over here, you can see a little bit about Lakeview, next to Chicago, 1889, talking about some of the famous names. Diversey, Addison, some of the locations people who sent here. Michael Diversey, one of the early settlers, was a German who owned a lot of land in the area. A lot of Germans built here. As you can see, the church down the street, the old German church. And
did you know all those guys?
No, they were before my time, sir. They were before my time.
So,
but also,
how do you come to know all the history?
Well, I'm a historian myself, and I've taught Chicago history at many classes and written many articles about Chicago. In fact, if you're talking to Germans, and this is an old German neighborhood, is you have to talk. We're talking the Olympics right now. Is Johnny Weissmuller, who later became Tarzan, was a German kid from the Old Town neighborhood, who was a lifeguard at Oak Street Beach and went on to win 5 gold medals in the Olympics. And everybody's talking Olympics, but yet we don't have anything in Chicago really honoring him, which is a little hypocritical. And that's the Lakeview neighborhood. Now it's very up and coming, and goes there. A lot of new construction, a lot of old home. I think the oldest house I found in Lakeview is about 1875, still standing. That's been around for many, many years.
How long have you been here?
I've been here over 20 years.
And what kind of changes have you seen in the time you've been here?
Well, changes are that there's more development. It was a sleepy neighborhood up until about 10, 15 years ago, and then people started finding it, and they found that it was good transportation, convenient, not too far from the lake, a lot of good shopping here, a lot of good public transportation, a lot of parks, and that brought the impetus here.
What's the single most interesting thing you've ever learned about Lakeview history?
Whoa!
And I'll throw you a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well,
or the funniest?
Well, when Lakeview was being annexed by the city of Chicago, the then mayor of Lakeview didn't want to be annexed, and he held off at City Hall for about 2 weeks after the annexation, and they finally got him out of City Hall. And I think if you...
So he just sat down there and refused to...
Yeah, and they finally got him out. And I think if you're talking something in Lakeview is the Graceland Cemetery in Lakeview at Irving and Clark, where all the famous people are buried.
That's worth take a picnic lunch and...
They won't let you picnic there, but it's worthwhile walking through and recording the history, because all the big names are there. Pullman is there, and Pullman's there, and Sullivan, Marshall Field, and many, many important people are buried there. You know, Pinkerton the detective, and Mies van der Rohe. You could go on and on and on, and that's kind of the cemetery of Chicago's history.
Okay, I thank you for your time. I missed your name, so...
The name is Vic Giustino, a nice Italian boy from the old neighborhood.
Okay, what old neighborhood would that be?
Originally from the neighborhood around Grand and Ogden, which was a big Italian neighborhood.
Was big. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vic.